the desert of the real.
Welcome to the Desert of the Real. I'm your host, Ryan Hudson. Joined with me is your other host,
Jason Deeds.
The Desert of the Real is a movie podcast where I forced Jason to watch all the big blockbuster movies he's refused to watch because he didn't think they were worth his time. And this is a special episode because we just finished the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes!
The MCU is over.
I feel like I just was been constipated for a year and finally got out.
Like, this entire podcast became a thing because I would try to talk about these Marvel movies and Jason would not care. He could not care less.
That's true.
And then I was like, what if I forced him to watch these movies? And we did. We watched all of them. The point is, we're going to continue with other movie series, but we finished our first season. And that's what this episode's going to be about. Us talking about our overall thoughts. What did we learn? What did we appreciate? What do we think about all of them? We're going to tell you our rankings and everything. We, of course, are two high school teachers. Between the two of us, we teach English, film, philosophy, creativity, music appreciation. And we try to use our academic training to dig deeply into movies. We explore the creativity, philosophy, film studies, and ethics in our films, and push you, the listener, to think critically about your entertainment.
This is true.
We're going to get Dietz's thoughts about all of all the MCU.
The last 50 hours of podcast weren't enough.
Yes.
We need one more.
One more. Thank you so much for listening. It does mean a lot when you
does
give us a listen. If you haven't, it also means a lot if you give us a review, give us a rating.
Share with your friends.
Yeah. We
Family.
love hearing from you.
Random strangers at Walmart.
Yes. Tell random strangers about us.
Yeah.
Send us an email at desertofthereelpod@gmail.com. Thoughts, reviews, what you disagree with Jason about. And maybe...
Or if there's anything that Ryan said that you agree with, we'd like to know that too.
And also, like, if there's a series we should consider. I mean, it might take a while to get there, but, you know, we'll do this for a while.
Yeah.
So, Jason.
Yes, Ryan.
We've been on this journey together.
Yes, you and I.
And
all of our friends out there.
I have just some questions to ask you about the MCU and you. But I pointed to Jason, in case that wasn't obvious.
Yes. Not you, the listener.
Take us
Although, feel free to respond to any of these questions in an email.
Take us all the way back to over a year ago,
Okay.
before we started this project. What were your preconceived notions about the MCU?
Every single movie was the same. Same plot. Intro the hero. Cute crap happens, and then intro the villain. They have the initial battle, which the hero loses. Then he has to revamp whatever his plan was. Probably pulls in some people. And then they do another attack, and it looks like they're going to lose all the way up until the last second, and then they win.
Okay.
Rinse and repeat 33 times. That's what I thought.
34 times.
4 times. But I don't have to watch the 34th one. So.
Right. So, okay, now that you are an expert on the MCU.
I am not.
You're not, but you basically are. In fact, my brother-in-law, he met you.
Yeah.
He said you've now seen more MCU movies than he has.
I think that is cruel and unusual punishment.
But you're not going to watch the TV shows, and that's fine.
No.
I think most of them would have benefited being a movie and not an 8-episode story arc. But regardless.
Or not.
Or does not exist.
Yeah,
why make new things?
If they were new, that would be great.
So that's my follow-up question. Now that you have seen them all, what were you right or were you wrong about your preconceived notions?
Yes.
Tell us more.
I feel like the majority of these movies are pretty cookie cutter in their plot. However, there were a number of them, a surprisingly large number of these movies that did new, creative, different things that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
Also, for better or for worse, I guess I assumed that they were all directed by the same person. Mm-hmm. And so that they would have a common genre. And so that was also really surprising. And like I said, for better or for worse, I don't know that it was a good thing that, like, we have this really emotional, powerhouse of a movie, and then the next thing is Ant-Man or something. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but mostly I was right. But there are some exceptions that are exceptional.
Right. And I guess that's, once again, the thing that makes this kind of special. There's a little bit of everything in a way. Like, there are bad movies here.
Yes.
But there are
a
really
lot of them.
Good movies.
A few of them.
But would you have appreciated the good ones if you didn't watch all the bad ones?
Yes, I'm fully capable of appreciating a good movie in isolation from all of the other trash. I've seen enough trash.
Yeah, you watched the movie on Letterboxd the other day, and I left you a comment like, why did you watch this?
What was it?
It's some horror movie that you gave like 1 star to.
Because you have to watch those.
Okay, yeah, but I've seen enough horror movies to think for myself. You just say
but
that.
The difference is I like watching horror movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you like watching blockbusters.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, here... It's important for context that the first one came out, I was in middle school.
Yeah.
This is over a 10-year...
15 years.
15 years of movies.
Yeah.
So, like, they were tailor-made for, like, the mass populi, And then here I am, the target audience, growing up with these.
Yep.
And now we have the students we teach were born the year these came out,
Yeah.
And so it's an interesting franchise because I don't think you can ever do this again. And we've talked about before, there's been attempts. None of them have worked.
Yeah.
And now
I'm still bitter about the dark universe that should definitely have happened with Russell Crowe. And,
those who know. We are neglected of the dark universe.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, friggin' Tom Cruise. You suck. Anyhow, that's on an episode like 6 months ago.
Here's a question for you. Just from watching this series alone, how do you see how the industry has changed? Like, is that something that you think you can kind of track in these 15 years?
Yeah, and I'm not sure it's a good... I mean, like, honestly, I've learned more about film doing this from you than I did in my film classes in my doctorate. So, yeah, like, we have... So, do we not use practical effects anymore in film?
Yes.
Like, that seems to be the biggest tragedy, especially since we don't seem to be able to figure out how to use CGI well.
Right. Well, and that's with an asterisk because I think we could if studios gave their digital artists enough time.
Whatever it is, I don't see the evidence here.
Right.
There were a couple of great CGI scenes.
Yeah.
But on the whole, the CGI I felt was pretty terrible.
Yeah, no. And I forget what it was. There was an episode where I was like, from here on out, bad CGI.
Yeah.
With the exception of Guardians 3.
Which still had some bad, but it was better.
But, if you even go back and watch, I guess, just Guardians 1, it just feels more tangible than a lot of these other ones. Because, I don't know, think of the space jail where they have to break out. That's a real set with them climbing on the thing. And now, the Marvels, nothing like that. It's just, the technology has kind of changed. In fact, the first few movies were filmed with film.
Oh, wow.
And then I forget which one is the last one. Anyway, but then the rest filmed on digital, but that's, kind of par for the course and stuff. But
Yeah. If we're just using this as a microcosm,
yeah.
Apparently we as a consumer audience are getting stupider as time goes on.
Maybe.
Because some of the earlier stuff was really smart and complex there were more complexly plotted films in the earlier phases. What are they called?
Yeah, they're phases.
Phases.
Yep.
Than the later. And this last phase, I think, was trash. Almost entirely.
Well,
with the exception of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, one of your favorites
which is
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Number one.
It's spoiler alert, it's your number one.
My bad.
That's like one of the last ones made, and you would never have seen it if you didn't watch all those other
true.
ones.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was worth 33 other movies, but the plotting, like they seem to think that they can throw whatever the crap plot at us. Like case in point, the last plot, they just borrowed it wholesale from friggin' Spaceballs. Like no one's gonna recognize that. I guess actually their target audience would not recognize that.
Yeah,
because they probably haven't seen it. But
I know, but the millennials on the internet will know.
Yeah. I don't know. It feels like actors are increasingly dialing their performances in, with a few exceptions. But we seem, if this is a microcosm of the industry as a whole, like true actual acting seems to be becoming few and far between.
What acting did stand out out of all of these movies?
What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Not so much in the first two. Like, I feel like he could have played the first two just as a high school student that was a nerd.
Yeah.
But yeah, the No Way Home performance was, I guess I could say one of the best I think I've ever seen in terms of emotion.
Yeah. In a superhero movie or just all movies?
All movies.
Yeah. He's good.
It was magnificent.
He's going to be in a Christopher Nolan movie just announced.
Oh, wow.
Don't know what the movie is or anything. But
I heart Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he's used well and everything.
Chadwick Boseman, for the one movie he was in. Yeah. Was really, really good. Other than that, I mean, it just kind of goes down from there. Like, what is the Captain America guy's name?
Oh, Chris Evans. Chris
Evans had some really good performance moments. Mm-hmm. I don't know overall that it was that great. And then, of course, we get to the bottom of the barrel with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, my gosh.
Robert Downey Jr., like, they're just being themselves, and for whatever reason, we like them, I guess.
I mean, it's the last time we need to have this conversation. But
no, I'm sure Iron Man will show up in Star Wars somehow.
Yeah, he's just there in the background. Because Iron Man, if I think, what's the best acting in all the MCU, one of my highlights is Tony Stark. Wow. Specifically in Civil War, when he and Captain America are going one-on-one. Yeah. When that's one of the... He didn't know what he was doing. He was brainwashed. I don't care. He killed my mom. Yeah. Like, that moment specifically, I think, is a super powerful
I agree.
thing.
So that's when he's actually acting.
Yeah.
So, you can pull out that moment and say, here is him acting, and then you can weigh that moment against literally all the other scenes he's in, and you can recognize that's acting. Everything else is just him being himself.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
I know. We've argued enough about it.
I reject your hypothesis.
I know you do.
But I also, strangely enough, because it surprises me, one of my also... Well, it does not surprise me of who it is, but Christian Bale in Thor, Love and Thunder also sticks out. He's having the time of his life, and one of the only good parts in that movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I literally have never seen a Christian Bale movie that was not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a better living actor than Christian Bale. So
yeah. Yeah, there are just specific moments I think that stand out acting wise. Like, I think Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch.
Oh, I thought of probably the best like non-main character is Pugh. What's her first name?
Oh, Florence Pugh.
Florence.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
So
I think last week I said I would watch another movie with her in it.
Right. And so that's why maybe we can get an episode down the road of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, maybe.
Because she's not only she's like the main character in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I will probably watch that.
She's like
because she was magnificent in that movie.
Florence Pugh is incredible.
Yeah, that was a great.
Yeah.
And then Drax.
Of course, Drax. Also, Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. You don't get it? I mean,
no.
Actually, speaking of surprises, what surprised you in the MCU? Like, you're our most beloved curmudgeon, our most lovable curmudgeon. What is it? But what surprised you?
That there were movies that I liked, honestly.
Yeah.
But more than that, there were a couple of probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 movies that maybe 7 that were like legitimately powerful and impactful and amazing movies.
Yeah.
I would never have believed anyone that would have told me that at the start of this.
Yeah.
Like movies that I would put on my favorite movies list that I have.
It's because you've had students like beg you to watch these. And your family, right? Your kids are like, hey, let's watch these. And you're like, nope.
No, if they come and say, let's watch these, I watched. I've seen...
Yeah.
I saw 5 or 6 of these before we started.
Right, I know.
But the ones that they picked for me to watch fit my stereotype of MCU. And so that's kind of where the stereotype came from.
Dietz did not think reading a list would be entertaining. However, he is older. In fact, it's your birthday today.
It is my birthday.
Happy birthday, Dr. Dietz. Here you are spending some time on a podcast.
It's for you. This is my birthday present to you, listeners.
Thanks for giving me a gift on your birthday.
And for Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Talking me out.
Both of you.
Where was I going with that?
I'm an old person.
Okay, so
reading lists,
you're just
reading lists to people sounds boring as heck to me.
Yeah. However, so much of internet is here's a top 10, here is a list, and people like lists. I don't know if it's
like
not just
to look at them,
not to look. They want to know what your opinion is. I think it's just fun to kind of react. Like, what? He thinks this is the best. He thinks this is above that. I asked our school building the best Marvel movies and the worst Marvel movies. And then I let it out to the internet with a question that didn't make sense. And do you think the internet was kind to me? No, they zeroed in on that mistake very fast. So just like people are like, why even ask this? Isn't there? Yeah, there are movies that. Yeah, there's plenty of polls out there. You didn't have to respond. Just ignore this. It's the internet. Whatever. Okay.
We don't do that on the internet,
yeah,
I guess.
If there's something to be said. Let's start with the best. What do you think the people who responded to us, what do you think the number one is?
I'm sure it's Iron Man.
It's not Iron Man.
At least there's that.
It's more... Iron Man is more in the middle.
Oh. That's impressive.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of movies here. There are specific movies that no one voted, like were in the top 5. No, that's not one of them.
Okay.
A lot of movies only got 1 vote. Let me ask you, which one do you think is voted higher, Infinity War or Endgame?
Endgame.
I actually would have guessed that, but between what we are polling with our information, Infinity War is number one.
No. Sorry.
I know you don't... Yeah.
The interwebs are wrong.
No, they're not. So, I actually agree Infinity War is better than Endgame, even though Endgame just feels like the successful victory lap of here is this franchise for 10 years that we've known and loved. Endgame...
I did put Infinity War above Endgame.
And then Captain America, the Winter Soldier are the top three.
Okay, the Winter Soldier, I approve.
Other notable ones that are just higher than average, we have the first event.
What's the average?
Well, I'm just looking at this bar graph. I'm saying which ones look like the middle.
Oh, got it.
Is that fair?
Sure.
I mean,
it's
if I knew how to use Excel spreadsheets, I probably would have done a few things.
Statistical analysis here, so...
What?
Go.
You don't like the system?
No, it's a great system.
Which bar graph is higher than the other bar graph?
Just eyeball it.
I looked into putting it in a spreadsheet.
Oh, it's good.
And I'm like, I actually don't know how to do this.
Run it.
Okay, the other ones that are rated high, the first Avengers, Captain America Civil War,
yes,
Black Panther,
yes,
we got Thor Ragnarok,
yes,
Spider-Man No Way Home,
yes,
and Guardians 3 are the highest ones.
Okay, that means there's some hope for humanity.
One funny person, one person put The Dark World, Thor 2 as the best, which makes me happy.
Ever?
Well, no, that's his top
of
5.
All of them?
No, this is his top 5.
Dang.
But with the
odd.
internet, this could just be a for jokes response.
It could be a troll.
I mean, here's the thing. One comment I got was like, oh, I put these movies. And at first I was like, oh, these are just jokes. Like, they put Eternals, they put Ant-Man stuff. But you know what? Arguably, any of these could be anyone's favorite. Even the bad ones, according to us. That's how art works.
That's false. No.
From our stats, the movies that no one voted were the top 5. So this has nothing next to it. Iron Man 2.
Correct.
Doctor Strange.
Correct.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Yes.
Those are the ones that no one voted for. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with all of those.
And then the worst. 3 distinct winners for the worst movies.
Okay.
What do you think it is?
The Incredible Hulk.
No.
Really?
That's top 5, but it's the 5th.
Top 5 worst?
It's the 5th voted worst one.
Ant-Man and the Wasp has to be in there.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is in 2nd place.
The Marvels has to be on there.
I mean, it's not...
Really?
I mean, it's...
Eternals has to be on there.
So the number 1 is Thor Love and Thunder, voted the worst.
No.
Which is funny because it's in your top 5.
It is in
Spoiler
my top
5. So according to our statistics, and not some random poll on the internet, the top 5 worst movies voted by the people who answered our poll: Thor Love and Thunder.
That is unbelievable.
Then it's Thor The Dark World. It's actually tied with Thor or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And then Eternals. Okay. Number 5 is Incredible Hulk. The Marvels, and then Iron Man 2.
Wait, that's way more than 5.
Or are the next ones.
Okay.
There is only 2 movies that no one said were the worst movies ever made. Or, worst MCU movies. And that's
No Way Home and Civil War?
No, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Wow.
Interesting. No Way Home, for some reason, has 7. Keep this with all...
7 worst movie of all...
This is grain of salt
Are
stuff.
You kidding
What
me?
if this is a troll? I don't know. I even let one of my classes vote on this today, just for fun. And then I made an oopsie doopsie. I asked a question late into the game of which movies have you not seen? I forgot to include an option that says I've seen them all. So this isn't 100% accurate, but Incredible Hulk was the number 1 voted there. That's why it's interesting. Like looking at this franchise, like, oh, it's dead, right? No, yes. Spider-Man No Way Home, crazy successful. Bomb. Then it's like Deadpool and Wolverine. No, is it? Here's the thing.
Deadpool and Wolverine was a gimme, though. Everyone likes Ryan Reynolds for some reason.
Yeah, but can we say superhero movies are dead if audiences will spend so much money on the ones make...
I think what that tells us
what does that tell us?
We, as a podcast, are failing so far in enabling the populace of the planet to be critical thinkers. As long as there's enough explosions and, tight costumes and inexplicable magic powers, we'll watch it, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's confusing, because there was an oversaturation with the TV shows and movies ever since Disney Plus, and it has diminished the brand of MCU. But then it's like, let's take a break. Let's pump the brakes here. Let's add one movie, 2024, Deadpool, Wolverine, bunch of money. So it's like either audiences just need fewer to appreciate it, or they just like this specific type of MCU movie more. So I guess that's a big part of this one. It's not just nostalgia. It's like, here's X-Men. I've been watching these X-Men movies since, even longer than the MCU.
Right.
Here with Deadpool, and it's also like Wolverine and Deadpool. That's like a match made in heaven. They've only been joking about it for the first two Deadpool movies. And I don't know. So I don't know what to make of it. And if people did know what to make of it, they'd make successful movies every single time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without much further ado, here we present to you our lists.
Okay.
Excuse me. From worst to best.
The worst to the best. The worst one, I think, is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Then The Incredible Hulk. Then Captain America: The First Avenger.
See, I think some people will be shocked about that.
Then The Marvels. Then Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's my bottom 5. And then the next 5, number 28 is Eternals. 27 is Iron Man 3.
I feel like Iron Man 3, people are like, yeah, makes sense. And then the only other option is, no, that one's the misunderstood, really good one. I think there's no in between with Iron Man 3.
Yeah, well. Number 26 is Ant-Man, then Black Widow, which I had a hard time. I remember when I was trying to place Black Widow, because on the whole is not a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's got, I would say, probably with the exception of Tom Holland in No Way Home, I think it's got the best performance in the MCU.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to put that in here, but I put it at 25.
She's amazing. I don't even know how to explain. Like, she's in that Hawkeye TV show, and like, yeah, in this random Marvel show, you're just standing out.
Yeah. Probably why that makes it so low is that literally everything else about that movie was not.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
With great actors, too.
Well, yeah.
Rachel Weisz, Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I think that's one of the worst movies of hers that I've seen.
I think.
Which is super surprising.
The movie should have come out in phase 2.
I don't think it would have helped any, but
it wouldn't. But it would have been like, yeah, well, this is phase 2.
At least it fits there.
Exactly.
This is random movie. Anyhow.
Anyway,
24. I've got Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness. 23 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, aka Spy Kids. 22 is Iron Man, because Iron Man. 21, Thor: The Dark World. 20.
Whoa, that's actually a pretty high comparatively, I think.
Yeah, I think this has been a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that the visual was pretty awesome.
People downtrod on that because it's like the forgotten one, whatever, but visually, especially compared to these movies,
right?
It's like, look how like it looks like a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Look at these distinct colors and stuff.
Still in the bottom half.
Yeah.
But visually it seemed awesome. Number 20 for me, Spider-Man Far From Home, because a lot of absurdity happened in that movie. 19, Iron Man 2, which is the highest Iron Man. That's as far as it goes.
Iron Man 2, people.
Yeah.
That's his number one Iron Man movie.
That is the number one Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Is that bad?
I think so.
Okay, why? Tell me why.
Because that one's like a bad movie. Not even bad for Marvel.
It isn't a bad movie. It seems like it was one of the movies where Robert Downey Jr. was the most real.
Yeah, he's like dying slowly from his arc reactor. The other thing is the villain. This is kind of a dumb complaint. It's just the same villain. It's just, let me get a super suit at the end.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
That was Whiplash.
Whiplash.
Yeah.
Man, that was so long ago. That was back when our episodes were not as good. Pretty bad, I think.
Hopefully.
I mean, I'm not going to listen to them.
Hopefully we're better.
I mean, I think we are, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
18 is Wakanda Forever, which is, again, that's kind of, it hurts to put it there, but it wasn't a magnificent movie. It was just kind of... Yeah. 17 for me is Spider-Man Homecoming. And then we get into the top half. So my 16 is Endgame. My 15 is Thor. 14 is Avengers Age of Ultron. Mostly because of the philosophical stuff in that. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
13.
You do have students every now and then. It's like, you like this movie, Deets, because of the philosophy.
Right. And I watch them and they're largely right. So, 13 is Doctor Strange. 12 is Infinity War. 11 is Black Panther. Like, my 11 through 8 is a hard, like, I don't know that it's actually in that order. So maybe we'll have 8. These 4 movies. So Black Panther, Shang-Chi, because I'm a sucker for, like I said, for culture and like viewing, seeing into like the behind of the culture. Number 9, I have the Avengers, and number 8 is Captain Marvel, which apparently is a hot take. And then another chunk. Well, no. I'm going to stick with my top 7 in this order. I think that this is correct. So, number 7 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Then number 6 is Winter Soldier. Number 5 is Ragnarok. Number 4 is Thor Love and Thunder. Number 3.
Yeah, the number 1 voted on our very official poll.
And then 3, Guardians, the first Guardians. 2, Civil War. And my number 1, by far, is Spider-Man No Way Home, which I will definitely be watching again, multiple times again, because it is a magnificent film.
Is there any way for you to slide it into some of your lessons here at the high school?
Maybe. I don't know. So, there is my super exciting reading of my list.
I'm looking at my list here.
I feel pretty solid about that order for the most part.
Here's my problem. When I look at my list, I'm like, do I think this? But like, it's because there's so much context behind some of these.
For personal context?
Yeah, I mean, just like what it meant to watch at the time and things. So it's going to feel kind of basic, which is maybe a little boring. But my bottom ones, the last place, Incredible Hulk.
That's fair.
Black Widow.
Okay.
The Marvels. Thor.
Wait, okay.
And then Iron Man 2.
Okay.
And then I have Thor, Love, and Thunder.
False.
In 6th place. Your number 3, was it?
My number 4.
And then Ant-Man.
I don't think I will ever understand the hate for that movie. It is so much fun. I laughed almost start to finish.
Right.
There's fantastic moments that are just hilarious.
I think the biggest problem is it's just the post-Endgame where...
Yeah.
I think it's too silly. I think that's a common complaint.
Was it the next movie after Endgame?
No. It's just the next time we see Thor and stuff.
Oh, yeah. See? Get over it. Y'all need to rewatch Thor Love and Thunder just as a movie on its own. I think it's hilarious. But anyhow.
So, above Thor: Love and Thunder, dare I say this? Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
That's bizarre that is...
That's
my low. That's my bottom.
When
worst.
In that episode, I was like, I kind of love this messy movie. There's a lot of things that are bad about it, but I'm like, I like some of the stuff. Okay, and then it's Captain Marvel. Moving up is the first Captain America.
Yeah,
which I think is the worst one.
I agree. I agree.
Some people love it. And then above that is where I put Eternals.
That's fair.
And then we have Ant-Man, Thor: The Dark World, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Spider-Man.
Wait, Ant-Man and the Wasp is higher than Ant-Man?
I think so.
Wow. Okay, I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
but...
I don't know. Now
it's your list.
Like second guessing my list, but like
it's your list.
Here's the thing about Ant-Man and the Wasp. You are right. It's it's out of all of these, it's the most forgettable one.
Yeah.
But I remember immediately watching it, I was like, man, that was kind of fun, right? Like, but I can't remember details. When we recorded Ant-Man 3, I was like, what was the movie? They're wanting the...
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, that was the second Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the thing in Doctor Who you look at and then you look away, you can't remember it?
Oh, the silence?
The silence. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the silence. When you watch it, for me, I'm like, this is a good time. Look how fun and goofy this one is. And it ends like, oh, well, what happened exactly?
Yeah.
Who's going on?
Yeah.
So that's fair. Above Ant-Man and the Wasp, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Okay.
Then I have Doctor Strange, and then Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. What?
That's not...
Doctor Strange 2 is a step up.
No way. There is no way.
I am gonna die on that hill, I guess.
Okay, do it.
That's where I put Iron Man 3
You'd
above
be
that.
reincarnated as a whale.
Oh man, listener, I don't even know if we can even say.
Just cut it.
The entire school has an inside joke now. Okay. Above Iron Man 3, I have Shang-Chi, which in retrospect maybe feels too high.
Too low.
Anyway, whatevs.
It's okay.
We got Avengers: Age of Ultron, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then above that...
So that's your lowest Guardians.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I put Deadpool and Wolverine right here.
Okay.
Which, it's a movie that I think has problems with, especially like its structure and how it uses nostalgia or a few things. However, I had such a good time. There was a smile on my face for most of that movie with all the silly goofiness and just funny jokes. So it's rated higher than other movies, but it's just because what a time I had. Maybe that's recency bias. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll rewatch all of these ever again. I feel like Marvel movies are those things like, oh, when I'm at a hotel surfing channel, it's like, yeah, I'll stay on this for a while, I don't know. Anyway, then I have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, followed by Black Panther.
Okay.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4,
sense.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My 11th spot is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Wow. That's lower than mine. That's lower than where I put it.
It's just because my top 10. Number 10 is Iron Man, a movie you do not like. And it's the first one, and it hits the ground running to me.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we watched that one. Over a year and stuff, but...
I know.
And then Thor Ragnarok. Once again... the best of the Thors. I think it's just the whole thing is a lot of fun, but it's in your top 5 too. Yeah. So yeah, Thor Ragnarok.
Number 5.
That one definitely felt like it. I mean, out of all of them, maybe the funniest MCU movie. No,
I think Thor: Love and Thunder is by far the funniest
And then the rest of my list, I feel like, is
Standard.
maybe standard compared to a lot. Because number 8, excuse me, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
That was my number 6.
Spider-Man: No Way Home. And,
Wait, what?
And then Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, okay.
It's rated above Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Wow.
And then Guardians of the Galaxy
Dang.
is right there.
I can't wait to know what your top 5 are then.
Well, you're going to think it's
Because you
silly.
pulled down...
Then this is where I put Avengers Endgame, which before this rewatch was probably a lot lower. But we talked about it. I got emotional talking about this dang movie. It was like, man, these superheroes, these little superheroes, why do they mean so much to me?
Yeah.
This is the movie that it all like comes to a head to.
Yeah.
And then Civil War, which
Is that number 4?
That's 3.
3.
Civil War.
Civil War was my number 2. So.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I agree.
As just like a movie.
Yep.
And then the first Avengers is number 2, which I don't remember your thoughts on that one.
I don't either. It was part of my 4 that were the number 8, so it's high for me too.
That was that was the one. It's the first time let's put a group of movies together for one movie, and especially at the time. And here I am as a senior in high school seeing this movie, and it just seemed like the best thing ever. I saw it like multiple times in theaters.
It was quite good.
It was very satisfying. I remember being worried about, is it going to be too much Iron Man? No, it feels like the right amount of everyone.
There is too much Iron Man. Any Iron Man is too much.
And then Avengers Infinity War, which...
That's your number 1?
That's my number 1. My list is boring compared to your list. You have a lot of hot takes.
Well,
but Infinity War, it's like the same thing I just saying about the first Avengers. It's that, but times 10. It's like, this is...
Right.
Look at all we've done.
Yeah.
Look how... And then it ends with that cliffhanger ending, and it's like... You know, take yourself out of knowing there'll be another one. It's like, oh my gosh, they ended a movie by killing half of everyone?
Yeah.
It was just an event. And part of this comes from seeing it in theaters, from seeing it with a group of people who were just dead silent in the theater,
But, yeah.
No.
It was pretty lower for me because I don't know. That experience is not one that I would have had or even would have found credible in anyone watching it. Because
Yeah. I know, we know.
So
I know.
To me it seemed like
pretend.
No, it seemed emotionally manipulative to me.
All right.
Which I hate. So as I've well established, I'm the logic guy. So.
Yeah. So, dear listener, what are your top 5 movies?
Yeah.
What are your bottom 5 movies?
Yeah.
Which ones have you not seen? Those are all the questions that were on the poll.
Yeah.
So, okay, I need to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're done with these.
Me too.
I like these movies, okay? As a whole. All the good and bad. Like, I can say I'm a fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I cannot.
I am just glad we could talk about other things.
Me too.
I'm also glad that we started with this franchise, because if we started with something shorter and then I was like, here's one that's only 34, you would
only
not
34.
have done it. Like, you would not do it, I feel like.
Maybe.
Now every other franchise would feel like
could be shorter.
Yeah. Except for if we did like Godzilla. Or James Bond. Let's go all the way back to James Bond. The Daniel Craig movies are on the table, though. No comment? Okay.
I hate James Bond.
Why do you hate James Bond? What the heck?
For the same reason I hate Iron Man.
Okay, well, that's why maybe you would like the Craig ones.
I've seen one of them.
Yeah.
Does he objectify women in it? Then I will hate it. I think that whole thing
it's
is
not
done. We are done with it.
Hold
we
on.
are done
Wait, pause.
using women as eye candy in movies.
No, but you could see how it's better than it ever has been. Like,
great. At least we're moving that way.
It's not perfect.
I personally am done with it.
Well, maybe we'll have to rewatch those 5. Okay,
maybe. So anyhow,
here's the thing. We're just gonna briefly go over what's in our future.
Okay.
Dietz has 2 Dietz choices.
I do.
He'll tell us what they are in a second, and then we'll talk a little bit of Star Wars, and then we're done. Send us your thoughts after that.
Yeah.
So Dietz.
So just before we leave the MCU, one last. So I came out of the 34 movies that we watched with 4 movies that I added to my I will watch these again.
Yeah, you're a list of favorite movies.
Yeah, I have a running list.
Yeah, and if you want to access that, Patreon.
No, which if I'm being totally honest, I would never ever have thought was going to come out of the MCU. So there are, I think, movies that are greater than themselves.
Yeah.
In the MCU. So.
Similar to like let's say Spider-Man, your favorite one.
No Way Home, yeah.
Because that's not just like a continuation of previous stories. That's like, this is what Spider-Man's all about.
Yeah.
It's like it's bigger than just the character.
Yeah. So I don't know what is 34 divided by 4, what percentage that is.
Let me pull up my calculator.
But I feel like, if I'm being totally honest, I think that this was worth it for me. For 11% of the MCU movies are great from my perspective. And if I had to slog through 89% of garbage to get these 4 movies, if I'm being honest, it was worth it.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And if I'm being honest, and a lot of this is kind of like the last 2 phases worth, everything post Endgame, I'm like, yeah, it's time to move on. It's like, as an audience, I think we need a hyper focus on some other thing, I think.
But we would have not gotten No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, that does feel nice.
So, or Thor: Love and Thunder. So 2 of my top 2 of the movies that I will 100% watch again came from Phase 4.
And here's the problem with me, though. I'm like, I see the trailers for the Thunderbolts. I'm like, yeah, I think that looks kind of good. Or the trailer for Captain America: Brave New World. I'm like, oh, maybe there's something there too. I mean, my brother's like, I don't think that looks good. I'm like, I don't know, cool trailer. I mean, I'm curious.
Yeah.
So I say that, but I know I'm like, yeah, I'll see it. I'll be there. I'm gonna. They got me hooked.
You are part of the. Yeah.
The part. I mean, we have talked about all these talking points in this entire series, but a big draw for these movies was like, if you don't see it in theaters, it will be spoiled for you.
Right.
If you're not part of it, you might just read something on the internet that could ruin something.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we just got to see it in theaters as soon as you can, because it's like a TV show that's
sure
all seen in the theaters and stuff. Because even after Endgame was like the ending point, and everyone waited 1 year because of COVID. They had to. There was no.
Right.
The movies were all pushed back, and after a year, it's like, yeah, probably time for another Marvel movie. Black Widow. I mean, it's something. And then, trickling here and there. And
yeah.
The Marvels! Or not the Marvels.
The MCU.
The MCU. We did it. I am so happy about this.
Adieu.
So, what is our palate cleanser, Dr. Dietz? What are our next 2 weeks
All right,
of movies?
So after the last episode, we were talking with Donald about why the ones that I pick don't get listened to as much. And one of the theories is that they're just too far out. Well, another one is that most of them are rated R, and you guys don't have access to VidAngel or Enjoy Movies Your Way, which you should. I highly recommend both of those services.
VidAngel?
This is not a paid advertisement.
No, but we will sell out.
Some of us might. And so I have chosen 2 PG-13 movies, one of which is a horror movie to kind of keep up with my theme.
Classic.
And then the other one is a science fiction movie, so that we are prepared to launch into Pod Racer the movie and other stuff in a couple of weeks. So next week we will be watching and talking about a movie called Lights Out, which is a PG-13 horror movie, which I feel like shows horror movie makers in general that you do not have to have an R rating on a horror movie for it to be scary, for it to be impactful. So
it looks like it's not currently streaming on anything.
Oh, fun.
But,
well, sorry.
It's around. It's available here and there.
And then the science fiction movie that I've chosen for 2 weeks out is called I Am Mother. And
I think that one's on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Netflix movie.
I Am Mother is on Netflix.
Yeah, which again is it forces you to consider a lot of very deep concepts about what it means to be human, what it means to trade security for freedom. Visually, I think it's quite attractive.
Like it looks cool.
Yeah,
like it looks good. I mean,
yeah. So those are the 2 we will watch next week and the week after. Lights Out and I Am Mother. And then we start back with.
Then we're entering into a galaxy
far away.
Far away. So, just a little preemptiveness, because I'm so excited for Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
I love some of Star Wars.
Here's the thing. This is silly, but I like Marvel. I like superheroes. I just talked about I like this franchise. I like these. I don't have tattoos. Okay? I don't have a tattoo.
Me either.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't get a Marvel tattoo, but Star Wars.
Iron Man?
I would get a Star Wars tattoo.
Wow.
This franchise has been with me since I've been a baby.
Me too, actually.
It's just always been there.
The
and for
first one
some
came
reason,
out-
my dumb brain is like obsessed with it to
That's
a point
okay.
where I probably should talk to someone about it.
Well, here I am.
we are.
Here I am.
So, Dietz has seen 5 of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah. I saw the good 3.
The original trilogy.
The good 3. And then I saw Pod Racer the movie and other stuff happens. And then I think I finished the second one, but I think I checked out mentally at the point he jumps out the window, falls for 4.5 miles, lands on the thing and doesn't turn into strawberry jam. I was like, yep, nope, I'm done. And then that one ends with like this flying Kermit the Frog with a laser, or what is it, a lightsaber flying around the room. I've never seen something that looked more ridiculous to me that wasn't in a comedy.
So here's...
That's
seen
what
those
I got.
5, the original trilogy in episode 1 and episode 2.
Yep.
You have not seen...
I've seen none of the rest of it.
There's 6 that you have not seen.
Sure.
The sequel trilogy, there's a Han Solo movie, Rogue One, which are 2 standalones, and then episode 3, which a lot of your students are going to say is the best one.
Episode 3 after the Flying Muppet. And...
after Flying Muppet. So the thing, like I just said, Star Wars, it's been there.
Yeah.
It's not just a movie to an extent.
Yeah.
It's like it's its own thing.
Yeah.
And for better or worse, Disney now has it, and what
Worse.
it's doing, we'll see what
I would assume worse.
I am so excited for you to see some of this stuff. So
Disney tends to ruin everything.
we are going to go in chronological order, not release order this time.
Yeah,
we're going
which makes sense.
the prequels. I still think we should do at least one of the story arcs in Andor.
Anyhow,
Because Andor rules.
so interestingly enough, Star Wars has been with me my whole life as well.
Yeah.
I think the first one was released the year I was born in 75, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Those three were maybe even are still my father's favorite movies. So I have seen, what is it, 4, 5, and 6? Is that how we refer to them?
Yeah.
I've seen those movies probably more than 95% of the movies I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
I have seen those easily a dozen times each.
Right.
And so I also have a pretty deep emotional connection with Star Wars, which is probably why I was just so upset after the first two that have refused to tie it into our podcast. I have refused to watch any of the rest of the Star Wars because they ruined my childhood. They ruined the good emotional connection I have with these movies and my dad. So
the look he's giving me. All right. So anyway, the future is bright for this podcast.
It is.
We got Deetz's Choice, Lights Out, Spooky Time next.
Yep.
I Am Mother, and then Star Wars, baby. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There is going to be more Jason's Choice. We're going to let him watch a movie in between each of the trilogies and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, baby.
And I'll try and get movies that everyone can watch.
Yeah, and if you disagree with that, if you'd rather be told an interesting movie that may or even not be rated R, let us know.
Yeah. I mean, you need to vote with your listens. I think that's kind of how I am gauging my choices. So far, not so many people are interested by virtue of what they listen to of our podcast.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, part of this show is like, these movies are what everyone's watching. Is there anything there? And you're like, let's watch something that's not on the mainstream. And
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
There's a lot of movies out there.
Yeah. There are some great movies, and then there are the Marvel movies and some of the Star Wars movies and
Thanks for
other blockbusters.
All right.
And most of Jurassic Park. And
we should do Jurassic Park.
And, most of all franchises, actually.
Yeah.
But,
you know, it'd be kind of fun,
like I said,
force you to watch Transformers.
No.
That'd be
Nope.
nuts.
I will walk.
That's a weird franchise.
But I, again, will, as we head out, I recognize that there are masterpieces hidden in the blockbusters. So my original, I can call it a prejudice against blockbusters, is no longer valid, and I admit that now.
Wow.
So
what a moment.
Yeah.
What would be funny is if we did Fast and Furious, and you're like, I take it back, I take it all back.
No. So my new thesis is defensible. There are masterpieces in the morass of garbage that most blockbusters are.
Hear, hear.
So there you go.
I know.
So hopefully you enjoyed this list-based episode that I can't imagine anyone enjoying.
Yeah, okay, but you have your students, for the last paragraph, what do you call it?
Synthesis.
This is the synthesis
episode. It is the synthesis episode. Except for we didn't really synthesize.
No, we didn't.
That's okay.
Bring it all together into one big conclusion.
One big conclusion.
The conclusion. Well, you kind of did.
I did.
There's a point.
There are masterpieces in 10%
the 10% of it is there.
Yeah, apparently.
Anyway, we love you.
We do.
Thank you so much for listening.
We do really appreciate you listening. So we'll see you for Lights Out next week.
Yeah, think critically.
Think critically.
Bye.